Welcome to Northside. This presentation is designed to help you become familiar with the district's gifted and talented services. We hope you find the information helpful as you consider whether your child is in need of district GT services. TEA, the Texas Education Agency, has created the Texas State Plan for the Education of Gifted and Talented Students. This document guides Northside's program and service design, and we will refer to this plan throughout our presentation. When it comes to defining gifted and talented, we follow the state plan definition. A gifted and talented student means a child or youth who performs at or shows the potential for performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment, and who exhibits high performance capability in an intellectual, creative, or artistic area, possesses an unusual capacity for leadership, or excels in a specific academic field. In Northside ISD, we offer a general intellectual abilities program as our gifted service model. Northside strives to provide innovative, high-quality, and diverse learning experiences for all of our students in this ever-changing world. In support of that mission, our GT program aims to provide instructional opportunities that are designed to meet the unique needs of students who have significantly advanced general ability. It also seeks to provide an appropriately differentiated curriculum in efforts to help students work to their fullest potential. GT services may include a modified delivery of instruction for students through acceleration and/or more complex content and activities that offer greater depth of learning. Northside's identification process begins with a referral. Anyone can refer a student for testing: a parent, a teacher, a librarian, a community member, even the student themselves. Parents and teachers may access the referral form on the Northside Gifted and Talented website. Any previous testing data is helpful if it is available, but not required. In Texas, there is no one set standard for identifying students for GT. Therefore, each district sets their own criteria for placement and services. Once you have given testing consent by completing the referral and checklist process, the campus GT specialist may move forward with the data collection process. When thinking about referring your child for GT services in Northside, here are a few important things to consider before submitting the referral form. Please start by reviewing the general characteristics of gifted learners and the chart comparing high achievers, gifted learners, and creative thinkers. These resources can help you reflect on whether your child may show signs of giftedness, not just high performance. It's important to know that not all high-achieving students qualify for GT services. While early reading, straight A's, and high STAR scores are great accomplishments, they don't always mean a child has an academic need for gifted services. The GT program is designed for students who show advanced thinking skills and require deeper, more complex learning opportunities than what's typically offered in the classroom. In Northside ISD, about 5 to 8% of students on a campus qualify for GT services. When you're ready, you can complete the online referral form and reach out to your campus GT specialist with any questions. Item 2.22 of the Texas State Plan states that both qualitative and quantitative measures must be considered when determining whether or not a student needs GT services. In Northside, quantitative data includes the MAP Measure of Academic Progress test, which generates a score in both math and reading, and the COGAT, or Cognitive Abilities Test, that elicits scores from each of 3 categories: verbal, quantitative, and nonverbal. Both MAP and COGAT are nationally normed, standardized tests that are administered to students online. A student may be referred for testing each year. However, The COGAT test can only be administered once every 2 years. Your campus GT specialist can provide more in-depth information if you would like to know more about any of these tests. One thing to note is that our very diverse district uses campus local norms at the elementary level for placement consideration. Remember that the definition of gifted and talented includes a child or youth who performs at or shows the potential for performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment. Local norms generated by the district administration of the COGAT in 2nd and 5th grades allow for within-group comparisons. In other words, students are compared against other students at their respective campuses as opposed to the whole district or even the nation. Finally, qualitative measures include both a parent and an educator checklist. When submitting a referral for gifted services in Northside, it's important to know what kind of information is actually helpful to the placement committee. The goal is to give the committee insight into how your child thinks and learns, not just what they've accomplished. Focus on specific, real-life examples that show advanced thinking or learning behaviors. Share moments when your child showed unusually deep or complex thinking for their age. For example, maybe they solved a problem in a unique way or made an unexpected connection between ideas. Does your child pick up new concepts quickly, sometimes after only one exposure? Or maybe they get intensely focused on a topic and want to dive deeper than what's taught in class. That's the kind of detail that's meaningful to the committee. Gifted learners often take initiative in their learning. If your child teaches themselves new things, follows their curiosity, or seeks out more challenge, share that. It shows motivation and independent thinking. Gifted students often show emotional intensity or a strong sense of fairness. They may prefer to talk to adults or get frustrated when things aren't logical or efficient. These traits can give the committee a better understanding of how your child experiences school. If your child uses advanced vocabulary, enjoys complex games, or has niche interests like physics, anatomy, or engineering, those are helpful details that help paint a picture of the student's unique learning profile. Northside ISD uses a case study approach to GT identification, considering multiple data points. Your referral is one piece of that puzzle, designed to give the committee a better picture of how your child experiences the world cognitively and academically. Sharing authentic, specific examples make your referral much more valuable. When submitting a referral for gifted services, it's just as important to understand what types of information are not helpful for the placement committee. Some commonly used terms like thinks outside the box or is creative have become less meaningful due to overuse or vague application. Instead, try offering a specific example, such as, my child shows creative thinking when they, and then give a concrete example. While some students may be artistically gifted, Northside ISD's Gifted and Talented program does not provide services in the fine arts. However, our fine arts department offers many opportunities for students to explore and develop their artistic talents. Parents often mention that their child makes good grades, has high test scores, or has won awards. These statements speak to high achievement, not giftedness. High achievers and gifted learners are not always the same. Achievement reflects what a student has accomplished, whereas giftedness is more about how a student thinks, learns, and processes information. Other common phrases like would thrive or would benefit are well-intentioned but too general. Many students would benefit from enrichment. These statements don't provide insight into a unique learning need. Similarly, saying a child is bored in class may be accurate, but boredom can stem from a range of factors, including disinterest, social-emotional challenges, or classroom environment. It does not by itself indicate giftedness. Ultimately, gifted services are designed for students whose learning needs cannot be met through general education alone, even with classroom support. When referring a child, focus on sharing specific behaviors that reflect advanced learning needs. Ability tests, like the COGAT, measure a student's potential to learn. They look at how a child thinks and solves problems, often with questions that don't rely on prior knowledge. It gives us a picture of a student's reasoning abilities, how they process new information and make connections. Achievement tests, like the MAP growth assessment, measure what a student has already learned. These tests show us how well a child is performing academically compared to grade level expectations in areas like reading and math. Together, these two tools give us a more complete picture. Ability testing shows us a student's potential, and achievement testing shows us what they've already accomplished. It takes both tools to help determine whether a student has an academic need for gifted services. No single test tells the whole story. That's why multiple measures are used to make thoughtful, informed decisions about who qualifies for GT services. In addition to accepting GT referrals, all 2nd and 5th grade students in Northside are automatically screened for possible GT services. Screening for 5th grade happens in September, and 2nd grade screening takes place in February. So, what is universal screening? It simply means that every student in those grade levels is assessed, rather than relying only on referrals from parents or teachers. This approach offers several important benefits. It gives more students the opportunity to be identified for GT services, especially those who might be overlooked otherwise. It helps remove barriers, making the process more equitable and inclusive. It uses local norms, which compares students to others from similar backgrounds as required by the Texas State Plan. And even beyond GT placement, the universal screening data helps teachers better understand students' learning needs and differentiate instruction in the regular classroom. All data, including test results and parent and educator checklists, is compiled into an individual student profile. Final determination of a student's need for gifted and talented services is made by a district placement committee that includes at least 3 local, district, or campus educators who have received training in the nature and needs of gifted and talented students and who have met and reviewed the individual student data. A balanced examination of all assessment data collected through the district's Gifted and Talented Assessment process is conducted and used by the Identification Committee in making program placement decisions. If a parent disagrees with the committee's decision regarding placement, the parent may appeal the decision. More information may be found in the district plan for gifted and talented education. Once a student is identified for GT services, they remain eligible for those services throughout elementary, middle school, and high school. In elementary, gifted services are provided through a weekly pull-out model. This means students leave the regular classroom for a block of time each week to work in a small group GT setting focused on enrichment and advanced learning experiences. Time in GT class varies by grade level. Grades 3 through 5 attend GT 3 hours per week. Grades 1 and 2 attend 2 hours per week. Kindergarten students receive 1 hour of GT services per week, and those services begin after March 1st. In middle school, GT students move from a pull-out model to a daily graded class that becomes part of their academic schedule. Here's how GT services are structured by grade. 6th grade Innovative Thinkers 1 replaces the advisory period. 7th grade Innovative Thinkers 2 plus a 45-minute GT ELA class replaces the 90-minute general ELA block, and 8th grade Innovative Thinkers 3 replaces MAPS communication applications. In high school, students continue in the GT program through daily elective courses. High school GT offerings include GT Leadership 1, available to 9th and 10th grade students as a full-year elective course. GT Leadership 2, offered to 10th and 11th grade students as a one-semester course, and Independent Study Mentorship, ISM, Available to 11th and 12th graders, ISM is an advanced research and mentorship-based course that allows students to explore a career field of interest with guidance from a professional mentor. These courses empower students to develop leadership skills, conduct meaningful research, and pursue their passions at a high level of depth and independence. Students in all grades 9 through 12 also receive GT services through advanced academics courses such as AP, dual credit, and on-ramps classes. Across all grade levels, Northside ISD is committed to providing a cohesive and challenging gifted program of services that evolves with students as they grow. The GT curriculum focuses on specific skills that are built intentionally from kindergarten through 12th grade, with each year laying a foundation for the next. Let's briefly walk through the 6 core areas of skills that are developed through Northside's GT services. Critical thinking. Students learn to think clearly and logically, make decisions, solve problems, and support their ideas with evidence. Creative thinking. We encourage students to brainstorm, generate unique ideas, and design original solutions. Over time, they learn to revise and improve their work with flexibility and imagination. Depth and complexity. Using the depth and complexity framework, students explore concepts more deeply, make meaningful connections, and begin thinking like professionals in various fields, such as scientists or historians. Effective communication. Students learn to express their ideas clearly through speaking, writing, and technology. They develop presentation skills, give and receive feedback, and work well with others. Scholarly inquiry and research. Students learn to find reliable sources, evaluate information, and present their findings. As they grow, they take more ownership of research and connect learning to the real world. Leadership and responsibility. Students build habits like perseverance, self-awareness, time management, and collaboration. They learn to lead, accept feedback, and grow through challenges. If you have questions about GT services at any level, please reach out to your campus GT specialist or visit the Advanced Academics page on the Northside ISD website. The Texas State Plan includes a dedicated section on professional learning for educators who work with gifted students. As a member of the Region 20 GT Co-op, Northside encourages all Northside teachers to participate in GT professional learning opportunities. Teachers who provide instruction and services as part of the district's defined Gifted and Talented program are required by the state to complete 30 hours of GT professional learning. These hours must include 6 hours on the nature and needs of gifted and talented students, 6 hours on identification and assessment, and 18 hours on curriculum and instruction, which often includes topics such as differentiation, depth and complexity, and creativity. These foundational hours can be completed through professional learning opportunities offered by both Region 20 and NISD. Additionally, teachers must complete 6 hours of GT update training each subsequent year to remain in compliance. In Northside, all campus GT specialists are required to complete 30 hours of gifted and talented professional development. At the elementary level, this requirement also applies to teachers who serve students in our MAC GT clustering model. In middle school, all magnet teachers must complete GT training, and at the high school level, the requirement extends to teachers of advanced, honors, dual credit, on-ramps, and AP courses. If you have questions about GT students, the identification process, GT testing, or gifted course offerings, please contact your campus GT specialist. Every campus has a dedicated specialist who supports staff, students, and families with all things related to gifted education. This has been a general overview of the referral and identification process for Northside's Gifted and Talented services. For more information, please visit the Northside Gifted and Talented website. Your campus GT specialist is also an excellent source and can help guide you through each step of the process. We encourage you to reach out to them with any additional questions.